Vanessa, thank you. Well, today is Veterans Day, a day we honor the men and women who serve to protect our country. And that includes Captain Florent Groberg, who came to our country as an immigrant, went on to join the U.S. Army, and receive the Congressional Medal of Honor. He's here now in studio to talk about his new book, 8 Seconds of Courage, published by Simon & Schuster, a division of CBS. What an honor to talk to you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So you were born, I should say, in France.
I was.
Came over to the U.S. when you were a child, right?
Correct.
What inspired you to join the Army?
So my uncle, who was a Algerian, and so he, late 80s, early 90s, he was an imam, a preacher of the Muslim faith in Algeria, and this terrorist organization called the GIA came into Algeria to try to take over the government. In essence, just like ISIS did in Syria and Iraq.
These are your parents that we're looking at now, but continue.
Yeah, that's, well, that's not my parents.
No,
that's
the picture that just passed, that's the president and your fiance.
And so he fought and he was killed in 1996. He was shot, he was beheaded, and he was dismembered, sent back to my family. And so when we moved to the United States, that was a big, a personal problem and situation for me. And then 9/11 happened. I'd just been naturalized as a U.S. citizen. I was adopted by my dad from Gary, Indiana. And I had no other choice but to put on the uniform and serve my country and earn the right to call myself an American.
In August of 2012, you were on your second tour, your second deployment to Afghanistan, and your job was to, you said it was kind of like the Secret Service. You were in charge of protecting the military VIPs. The 8 seconds, which is the title of your book, was the amount of time it took you to run at and push away a suicide bomber. Take us back to that day and what happened.
Yeah, we were running a personalized security detail for Colonel Mingus at the time, and we were going to the Kunar Province security meeting. And it happened every week, every Wednesday. And so we were very familiar with the area. But on that specific day, the enemy decided to target us with 2 suicide bombers. So they came at us with a diversion, brought 2 motorcycles in front of our patrol as we're walking towards the compound for the meeting. At the same time, a man came out of a structure to our left. At that point, when I saw him, identified him, I couldn't see a weapon on him, so I couldn't actually engage him with my weapon. And so the next course of action, this is called escalation of force, is, go towards him. So I yelled at him, ran at him, grabbed him, hit him.
You ran at him?
Yeah. Well,
he had a vest on.
Well, he's a threat.
Yeah.
He's a threat. And so you never know exactly what the threat is until you get that close to him. And so when I was holding him, I realized this was definitely it in regards to suicide vest. So just did my job, which is I tried to throw him as far away as possible, as quickly as possible, because you got to protect the boss. But we still lost 4.
You lost 4 lives. We have pictures of the 4, and this is what you received the Medal of Honor for. Tell us about these 4 men who we're seeing right here.
So you have Major Kennedy. Obviously, he's a native of New York.
New City, New York.
We have Command Sergeant Griffin. We have Major Gray, who was Air Force. And then we have Regi Abdel Fattah, who was USAID, State Department. You talk about 4 incredible Americans right there. Family men, community men, well respected in their professions, willing to sacrifice everything for the well-being of our nation and to protect our flag and our families and our way of life. And so they did it on August 8, 2012. We have this weird thing that, it's not weird, but when a person doesn't make it in combat, we call them, it's a hero call. And so I just think that's so fitting in regards to why we call our fallen comrades, our fallen patriots, heroes. Because, heck, if we do it out there overseas when one of us doesn't come home, it's called hero call. And maybe it's the right name for it.
And you received the Medal of Honor. What was that like?
I'll be honest with you. When I received the medal, it was uncomfortable. I almost felt shame. Because you're talking about the worst day of my life, where 4 great Americans didn't come home. But
you saved a lot of other lives.
It's true. But, I think in our profession, it's about being perfect. And even when you're perfect, bad things can happen. And so I struggled with that fact for a long time in regards to my friends not coming home and I living. The guy blew up at my feet, and I lived. And they were almost 20 to 30 feet away, and they didn't make it. But it was an honor to receive it.
And just lastly, what do you want people to know here on Veterans Day about the men and women who serve in our military?
We love this country. We should be really, we should take a moment to step away and realize why this country is the most important country in the world, the best country in the world, because we have the best people, and you have individuals who are willing to sacrifice it all for our well-being and everything that we represent.
Thank you for being here. It's such an honor to speak with you. And thank you for your service to our country.
Thank
Happy
you.
Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day.
And for more information and a link to buy 8 Seconds of Courage, it is a great read. Go to our website, cbsnewyork.com.